The violence continues to be felt in KwaZulu-Natal, with Shell and BP shutting down their joint refinery operations. This comes after the ongoing unrest affected the SANDF refinery's delivery and supply routes in and out of the province. Several petrol stations are closed, while those still operating are running out of fuel. eNCA's Lethiwe Mdluli has been on the ground and brings us this update now. And Lethiwe, we saw some dramatic scenes about a day ago or so on the N3. Siphamandla Goke was showing us there where the queue stretched for about a kilometer to about a kilometer and a half. You also showed us scenes from the CBD about a day or two ago. What is the situation looking like this Friday afternoon?
Well, Tulas's situations have not changed. There are still panicked motorists looking for fuel stations that are still operating in and around the city. But the first thing I'm going to make mention of is also people trying to get food essentials. I'm going to ask my colleague to show you people queuing to find a few basic needs. We are running short of bread. We are also running short of milk in Durban. So a lot of people are going out and trying to find open supermarkets and also open fuel stations that will be able to sell those few essentials. But the petrol line is also very long. Motorists have been telling us today that it's not a lot of fuel stations that are operating, so they are trying their best to find places that are still open to fill up their tanks, so that when they need to travel, especially with emergency workers. We were speaking to them earlier on in Isipingo. They told us that they are in desperate need of essentials and also fuel. So there's a lot of people who are panicked, and they are also saying that they don't know how long the situation is going to last. So as you can see right behind me, there's a long line of motorists trying to make their way into this garage because it's the only one that is operating in this area.
Sure, I think actually, Lethiwe, at that angle, turning around the corner gives us a better perspective of just how long that queue is of people trying to get fuel. So you're saying that fuel station where you are is the only one that is operating in that particular area of Durban, and therefore people are flocking to it. I suppose it has now come down to people communicating by whatever means they can to alert each other where they can possibly find fuel.
Yes, Tilas. And also when we were in the Durban CBD a bit earlier on, we did notice that there are a few open garages at the moment. But around here in Umhlanga, the Shell garage that is situated here is closed. This Caltex garage is the only one that is currently operating. So it explains the long queue of motorists waiting to fill up, because most of them, I have noticed, are essential workers.
All right, Lethiwe Mdluli out in Durban, they're tracking that situation. While we show you those visuals, in fact, I want us to stick with them for a moment longer. I suppose part of the conversation will have to be about restarting the supply chains in our economy. Because, you know, in as much as we've got boots on the ground and it seems the state is pushing back and trying to regain control and stop the looting, the question becomes, how long can people be tested in this particular way? How long before the shortages themselves start posing a threat on their own? So, I mean, it's a crucial conversation that the supply lines need to be restarted. Let me take you to Alexandra Township, where we are showing you now visuals live of a military helicopter landing there. Slindelo Masikane is there. I don't know if you can hear me, Slee. What's the story with this chopper that is landing at the moment?
I hope you can hear me. What you are seeing right now is an SANDF chopper landing here at the Alex Mall. You would remember that Alex Mall is the only mall still standing here in Alexandra where residents are able to get goods as well as essential services. What you're seeing right now is the landing of the newly appointed chief of the SANDF, that is Chief Rudzani Maphanya, and he is making his way to the township. We're yet to be briefed really on what his visit is about, but as you can see in front of you, he is landing right now in the SANDF helicopter. I will try to get an official to actually speak to me while you see the chief landing. Good afternoon, Captain Silo, you're live on eNCA. We are seeing what looks like the chief of the SANDF landing here in Alexandra. Can you just give us some context as to why he's here?
The chief of the SANDF is just landed now in Alexandra, just going to check the area. But most of the detail you get once they stop.
All right, thank you so much. That's Captain Silo. As you can see, very little detail on his visit, but of course we do know that the army has been deployed to Alexandra. They have been here since around Monday this week, where we saw those violent scenes in the business district of Alexandra. That is Pan, where we've had several of the shopping centers as well as the malls looted, and the SANDF has been stationed there in particular. They've also been here at Alex Mall to ensure that this mall is not looted, because it is of course the only one still standing. But we have been seeing a lot of those visuals throughout this week of the army being in the area, making sure that they are seen, specifically to us, making sure that they're seen. It's almost like a show of force to just serve as a deterrent in the area, to ensure that people do not try to loot what's left here in Alexandra.
Yeah, nothing to cement that show of force than the landing of the SANDF Oryx helicopter there with the new SANDF chief, that is General Rudzani Maphanya, and as they disembark from the aircraft there, Slindelo, I suppose he's going to greet and perhaps get a briefing from the members who are already on the ground. What is he likely to see by way of the force deployment on the streets of Alex? It does seem like Alex Mall is being used as a staging base for the SANDF for this operation in and around Alexandra. But what is the picture like outside of the confines of that mall?
You know, I must say, Tulas, we've been hearing from government officials around the situation in Gauteng in particular stabilizing. And I can confirm, being on the ground, having gone around a number of the streets as well as the areas that have been looted, the situation is certainly seemingly coming under control, where the presence of the SANDF in particular seems to have really served its purpose. Over at least the past 2 days, there have been very minimal incidents of attempts to loot, but overnight I think is where the big issue is to ensure that overnight the situation does remain as calm as it does during the day. And what we are seeing is that the SANDF is maintaining its presence here. Law enforcement, in terms of the police and JMPD officials, are also in the area. But the effects of the SANDF being here has resulted in what we're now seeing as cleanup operations in the area to ensure, to try to restore some normalcy here in Alexandra.
Yeah. So as we see there in picture,
I think I have an opportunity now to have a word with the chief. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Just to give us a sense, you've landed here in Alexandra, one of the hot spots that seems to be stabilizing. What is the purpose of your visit here today?
We are here to appreciate the effort and the work that is being done by our men and women in uniform. We, as the National Defence Force, our key responsibility is to defend and protect our people. And we want to reassure the people that we are here, and we would like them to understand that what we are seeing now, it is an assault to our national integrity. We are not going to allow thugs, crooks to continue unabated. So we are here to tell the people that if they continue with what they are doing. But we are happy now that since we came in, we have cleared, and people's confidence now is back that we will continue to protect them, because our key responsibility is to protect our people. So we will continue to protect our people.
Chief, the situation is stabilizing in Gauteng, but KZN still remains a major issue, as well as the N3. More of your members have been deployed to KZN. Your message to them as they try to stabilize the situation there?
The message is clear. We are not going to tolerate any form of lawlessness. And currently, we are going to clear and make sure that there is nobody who is going to challenge the authority of the state. We have deployed all those capabilities, and we will ensure that we stabilize the situation in KwaZulu-Natal. We have already started. We've put assets and capabilities that are currently consummate to the challenges that are on the ground.
Thank you so much, Chief.
Yeah.
Tulas, that is the newly appointed chief of the SANDF, as you've heard from him, that they're not going to tolerate the lawlessness that we've been seeing transpiring over the past 8 or so days, and that their members are going to continue to try and stabilize the situation in KZN as they've been doing here in Gauteng.
Listen, Slindelo, I must tell you, unless you've heard it elsewhere, Pegicele is one known for colorful language in expressing the strong sentiment when government wants to put its foot down. But I must tell you, I think these are the strongest sentiments I have heard from government at various levels, organs of state, etc. From General Mapwanya there, Ruzani Mapwanya. That expression in Sesotho, it's kind of difficult to translate, is it not? But it really captures that sentiment where he says we will not allow this assault on our nation to continue, and we are not going to allow thugs and crooks to continue to do what they are doing, and we're not going to tolerate any of this anymore. I think it's as strong as it gets.
Certainly, Tulas, it doesn't get more stern than that. To see the chief of the SANDF here in Alexandra on the ground, it just shows you the gravity of the situation. The language that we've been seeing used by a lot of the officials on the ground, even the president himself, has just shown you that there is a serious situation that is unfolding in the country that's been tantamount to economic sabotage. Those are some of the phrases that are being used. It's been a deliberate act to destabilize the country. And, you know, the visuals that my colleagues have been showing you on the ground is to show you that the situation is serious. We know that there are reports that there could be a second phase to this particular, what others are also describing as an insurrection, you know. So now all eyes, I think, are on law enforcement officials to see whether they're going to be able to really stabilize the situation. I see the chief is going to address the troops. Let's take a listen.
The police and the soldiers, you have got a key responsibility to ensure that our people are protected. And your presence here, you have realized that since you came in here, the confidence of the people is back, and you will continue to bring hope to those who have lost hope. You know, as soldiers, your key responsibility is to protect your people. And here, when people are destroying the infrastructure, when people are looting, you are there because our people do not have anywhere else to go. And their last hope is you. So I want you to ensure that people are safe, people can go on with their lives, and all these things. You are aware that it's no longer just thuggery. This is economic sabotage. And if it's economic sabotage, it means, therefore, it's a threat to the freedom of our people. So you have to restore that freedom. You have to ensure that the thugs must not move around freely. The people are protected. The people will go on and carry on with their lives without fear. And as such, you must ensure that you work without any doubt, knowing that whatever you do, your people are looking at you and they have got faith that you will do what is right. Currently, you don't have to lower your guards, because the people that you are dealing with are continuously planning to undermine the authority of the state. And that we are not going to tolerate. I always tell people that when we come in, if they don't toe the line, I emphasize again, for those who are opposed to challenge the authority of the state, because whatever they are doing, for me, for the soldiers, for the commanders, and all members of the military council, command council, we have put all stops out so that we defend our people. So we will continue to do so. In KZN, we have now increased the capabilities that are on the ground. We have put vehicles and personnel. We are going to unclog and open the arteries, that is the road arteries, that are central to bringing in the necessary goods to our people. So entry will be cleared and cleaned. And anybody who dare challenges our work will be met with the necessary force that it deserves. We will meet force with force. Our responsibility is to defend our people, and we are not going to allow our people to be held in ransom. We are not going to allow that there are those thugs that moves around threatening the livelihood of people. Elderly people now do not have anywhere to go because the malls are destroyed. Elderly people cannot get their mundende because their malls are destroyed. People have lost their jobs. And now we say enough, it's enough. And we are here now to emphasize that enough, it's enough. We're not going to tolerate and sit back. We will increase numbers, we will increase capabilities, and we will match them and defeat whatever purpose that they are up to. Because this is no longer just pure robbery and thuggery. As I said, it's economic sabotage, and we are going to come up with solutions, and we are going to defeat whatever effort that they're up to. To men and women in uniform, thank you very much for your dedication. You have shown discipline, you have shown restraint, and you have indicated that you are here to protect the people because you are from the people, and you are for the people, and you will always be on the side of the people. And the thugs must know you, together with the community, are going to ensure that this place remains stable and safe. Thank you to all commanders that are leading this detachment, and to all members of the community that are working hand in hand with our soldiers and police. These are your men and women. You must support them. They are here specifically because they are to protect our people. Thank you, amasoja wetu, amaphoyisa wetu, nomndeni wetu. Siyazi ukuthi abantu abafuna ukumosha la are not the community. The community would like to say that siqhubeka nempilo zethu, and amajoni wenu, they are going to ensure that whatever happens here happens in a peaceful way. Whatever they are doing is for the benefit of our people. La ngizene some members of the Military Command Council and some members of the Army Command Council that are currently checking what is it that we must do to ensure that this deployment remains a success and this deployment brings that necessary stability to our people. Thank you. General Songwa from the Army is the one who is central in the current arrangement of force preparation and deployment. And I've got Admiral Mapoto, who is the Provost Marshal General responsible for the coordination of all effort by our military police, because together with the SAPS, the military police equally are policemen. So they work hand in hand. And other than Admiral Mapoto, I've got somebody who is in the background, but he is equally important in trying to gather information so that these soldiers must not work with blind eyes. So this is the team, and we are here to continue to reassure our people that we will be there for them and will continue to be there for them.
Thank you, Chief.
Sabo.
Thank you. Strong words there from the Chief of the SANDF Tulas. They will meet force with force, and they will not allow this economic sabotage to continue.
Yes, Lindelo, I mean, I think I want you to stay on for a bit, and I'll only cut away from you if we have another development that I need to get to. And the reason I want to stay with you for a moment is that there's a lot to unpack in what the General has been saying there, right? And as I was saying, these are the strongest words we have heard from any leader in any organ of state in government about this particular situation. It is to a large extent quite measured, the way that he spoke. There's a part where you can debate where he talks about meeting force with force. What exactly does he mean within the context in which we are constitutionally? This not being, one, a state of emergency, two, not a situation of fully fledged declared war, but in a situation where the life of the nation is under threat, and he's quite clear that this will not be tolerated. He says this is economic sabotage, and he says this is a threat to the freedom of our people. I like how he then takes it from the commands to the soldiers and then locates them within communities and says our communities want to get on with their lives. The elderly people want to receive their pension payouts, and we are being held to ransom, and calling it for what it is and saying these thugs will not hold us to ransom.
Certainly, Tulas, certainly. I mean, you can see that his presence here on the ground is to reassure the troops, the soldiers that have been deployed, about the mission that's at hand. The mission is to ensure that this country is stabilized again, that people can go back to their day-to-day living, and the fact that we've had this continuous violence over the past couple of days that has led to what he described, as our elderly people who aren't able to go get their pension money anymore because the malls have been destroyed. He says this cannot go on any longer. He's very clear that this has moved from just thuggery and looting and criminality to an effort to clearly a coordinated effort to destabilize the country.
Yeah.
So I think you can see that the situation is serious just for the mere fact that we have the chief here in the area.
Quickly, Slindelo, I want to go to Masego Ratlaga. Are you able to translate Hotlanka Husabola? Are you able to give it a go in trying to translate that expression that he used multiple times? It's a stern warning. What does it mean?
It's a very stern warning. I think it needs very colorful language to describe, but he is saying that if need be, the SANDF will not hesitate to act. So I think we can really take that particular statement for what it is, and it only best describes itself in that particular language. But right, I think you can really hear from the chief that he is not going to tolerate this any longer.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, thank you there. That's Lindelo Masikane out in Alexandra Township with General Ruzani Mapwanya, the chief of the SANDF. Let me take you to